Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Yesterday we listened to Nancy Pelosi get heated with CNN. Today we're going to watch Steve Mnuchin, the other side of the stimulus discussion on Lou Dobbs Tonight, which Lou Dobbs is a Fox station, so in fairness, they're kind of on the same side here, but it's still going to be interesting to watch. Let's get into it and add some commentary as necessary. Here we go.
Our first guest tonight is Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin, and today he talked with the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, trying to move forward some kind of deal to get 160 million Americans relief from the COVID virus pandemic. It didn't go well. Great to have you with us, Mr. Secretary. How would you characterize what seems to be an impasse?
Well, first of all, it's great to be with you. The president and my first priority would be there's about $300 billion that was approved in the last CARES package that we haven't spent. We need authority to spend that money. So our choice would be to immediately use that money for small business, for more PPP money, second payments, use it for airline workers, use it for kids, and to support jobs. So we could get that money into the economy quickly. The president would also like to send direct payments to hard.
This is good. A quick pause. So the PPP payments would be a second round of Paycheck Protection Program money if you had your income for your business go down by about 25% compared to the same moment in time last year. And then, of course, things that we've heard about regularly here would be supporting jobs, also supporting unemployment, and supporting, well, direct stimulus checks, $1,200 and $500, potentially as high as $1,000 for dependents.
Americans quickly. There's a lot of areas in here that we would have enormous bipartisan support if they could be passed on a standalone basis. The Speaker and Senator Schumer have insisted on an all or nothing approach. So we've been trying to negotiate in good faith a comprehensive package that would include a lot of things, would include money for testing, vaccines, kids, jobs, health care. Certain areas we've made a lot of progress on, certain areas we still have more work to do.
The calculus on the Democratic proposal rises to somewhere, and I think it's conservative, $2.6 trillion, which was their response in your negotiations to bring them down from what was 3.3, at least in their judgment. What is the issue here? Why is there not an ability to move to immediate they can refer to it as piecemeal. It's not comprehensive. Comprehensive is not attainable. That's been made clear here. Why would they not want to have the president's direct payments to those millions of Americans who need it right now? Much of the funds are right now unspent, could be used.
Very good questions. And I agree with this, by the way. Like, at least get checks out. Oh, come on. Like, yeah, we can get the other things going too, but get some checks out. Something. Like, here's a tide me over, you know? It's kind of like Lawrence cooking dinner. Hey, it's 3 o'clock and I'm hungry. Here's a tide me over. It's an apple. Except $1,200 would be nice.
Small business, as you point out. Job creators, where most of the jobs are created, small business. Critical to do that. What is the reason?
Lou, I don't think there's a good answer for that. I suspect that they don't want to give the president a win 3 weeks before the election. But they are holding up relief to hardworking Americans. Mitch McConnell wants to bring the PPP back to the floor. Again, this is areas we have money. We don't need to appropriate more money. There's $130 billion sitting in the PPP. We just need congressional approval to send out second checks. I have over $200 billion of money that was allocated for the Federal Reserve facilities with the Treasury. I'm not going to need that. I'm reallocating that. And we have national security money and cargo money that we want to allocate to the airlines. And again, these are areas of the economy, no fault of their own. They've been shut down by the China COVID virus.
So what you're saying, as I hear you, is that Speaker Pelosi simply wants to use the American people who desperately need this money as political pawns to secure an advantage over the president in the election. That's outrageous.
Well, we're really proud of the fact that the last two bills we passed on a huge bipartisan basis, 96-0 and 100.
By the way, I have to say, Steve Mnuchin could have easily railed Nancy Pelosi here, and he's not. But that is also his personality, because what Lou summarized is probably pretty dang right on. Because if a stimulus package passes, that's one of the three things Trump is looking for to get a re-election boost. Stimulus, stocks, cure.
To 0 in the Senate. You know, the good news is when the economy was really bad, everybody came together, put politics aside. The president's leadership, we executed those quickly. And as a result of that, the economy has come back significantly. Unemployment is way down. Areas of the economy that are open are doing great. But there are still areas of the economy, travel-related, restaurants, hotels, and these areas need more work. And the president has said to me, you know, keep at this until you get this done. We need to get everybody back their jobs who lost their jobs.
Okay, that's good. So at least, I mean, the odds of now it happening before the election are dwindling every day, which means there's a good chance I'm going to have a little bit of a makeover here. Not looking forward to that. Although I really still have hope we can get a bill before the election. I just don't know that we'll see money before the election. But anyway, the good news is we're probably going to keep seeing every single day. They're talking, they're making progress. At some point, they're going to hit a threshold where that deal is met.
Well, let's talk about the economy here. Well, before we do, let me just ask you, have you got other talks scheduled of any kind? Any sort of marker that you have to hit to have a discussion or that you have put down on the table?
Well, we both have some homework. We agreed today. We spent an hour on the phone today. We agreed to regroup tomorrow. We'll be discussing this again tomorrow. I think we've made some very significant compromises. There's some areas where we've made a lot of progress. They want some more details, and we're going to keep trying. Our objective is if there's a fair deal for the American worker and American business, the president wants us to get this done.
That's actually very optimistic. That's much more optimistic than what we heard this morning. Now, in fairness, okay, and this is Jaded Kevin. So Jaded Kevin's going to come out here for a second. Earlier today, Steve Mnuchin said, I don't think this is going to happen before the election. The stock market dropped on him saying that, a couple hundred points. Well, now he might be kind of backtracking those thoughts. I'm kind of surprised we didn't have Larry Kudlow come out. Larry always makes the stock market go up. That's his job. But he's being more optimistic here. But again, I'm being a little bit jaded that maybe that's just to backtrack what he said earlier. But I do believe this. And remember, when they say we talked for an hour, it does make sense to me that, because this happens in real estate negotiations as well, is, hey, this is my counteroffer. This is the verbiage I'm looking for. I can never get that word right. And then, okay, sounds good. Let me read this. You read my counteroffer. Let's strategize, tomorrow again. And then tonight, hopefully, the vision is that they spend more than 20 minutes actually doing work on it, and they come prepared tomorrow to have a proper discussion. Let's see what else we have.
And a fair deal for the American taxpayer I'm sure, looms large. The bailout for these blue state cities and blue states themselves that are in significant financial trouble through mismanagement. Pelosi obviously wants a bailout for the big blue. California, New York, Illinois, the list goes on. Do the taxpayers have anything to worry about that somebody will conflate that money with this package?
Well, we've been very clear. We've been very clear that any of the money that we allocate to the states can't go to use to pay pension funds and other problems. In certain cases in cities, we're working with the states to institute what are state financial control boards. But the objective here is if we are going to allocate.
A quick note, that's actually very complicated because it makes sense, because think about it. If you're California and you're like, oh, we're drowning in debt, and here comes this big rescue package for, I don't know, say $30 billion for California or something like that. California could just say, okay, we'll just pay police and fire a little less, and then we'll pay our pension obligations, and here comes money out of the sky. Let's use that for police and fire. So I could see the complication here, and I'm not trying to give any justifications for why they're stupid and taking so long. But it makes sense. These control boards, that's something we haven't heard of before. These are like the deep, deep things that are slowly coming out. Kind of interesting. Pisses me off how bureaucratic politics is, but I see both sides here.
To states to make sure that it goes to policemen, firemen, first responders, medical people. We want to make sure these people don't lose their jobs. They've been on the front line. If they lose the jobs, they go on unemployment. We end up having to pay for them. So our objective is, if we send any money, to make it very targeted.
Are you hopeful that anything will be done before the election?
I'm always hopeful, Lou, and we're going to keep trying. I think it's obviously hard to get it done. If the Speaker wants to compromise, we can get this done quickly. But we're going to keep working. The President is determined. We're going to get this done. And if we don't get it now, when the President wins the election, we'll get it passed quickly afterwards.
Nice clarification.
Let's turn now then to the economy, Mr. Secretary. We've seen some bright spots, as you say. We have seen surprising strength for many, strength in the economy. Is it sustainable, and what do you see over the next few months?
I think it is sustainable, and the good news is the President's economic policies have worked. The bipartisan package worked. These have had tremendous impact. We're going to have a very, very big GDP number coming up. We've had very big jobs numbers. But again, what we want is targeted help for areas of the business, again, that are small businesses. I think 50% of our private payroll is in small businesses. There's a lot of small businesses, no fault of their own. We got to help.
Okay, so there we have the absolute latest from the negotiator representing Donald Trump in these stimulus talks. This is probably the best source of information. Every little bit of information we can squeeze out of Mnuchin is what we want. He walked back his comments a little bit earlier, says he's still hopeful, pointed the blame at Nancy Pelosi for not wanting to get a deal done yet, but did also walk back and in kind of hardlining and said, hey, if a deal is fair for the American people, we'll do it. And in the meantime, they're both still working out their homework, which, in reality, with these bills being, 1,800 to 3,000 pages long, I could see a lot of issues having to work out. The tax credits, fraud, these commissions, and all this BS we don't really care about because just give the damn money already. But I can see, at least in Mnuchin, and on Pelosi a little bit yesterday, I felt like there was almost a little bit of just resentment against Trump that was coming through, and I'm trying to be as in the middle here as possible, but you kind of felt that. It was hard to not feel that, even if you were left, and certainly if you're right. Mnuchin here, he had some really solid opportunities to really take hardcore jabs at Pelosi, and he didn't. He really has a very good way of restraining himself, and I don't know if he's doing that to sort of provide hope to the market, although he was pretty blunt. He said it's going to be difficult to get something done before the election. So I kind of respect the way he's delivering his message. I think, I wish we could get this deal done sooner, but at least now we have some of the latest information. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. Get your 2 free stocks with Webull, link down below. Deposit $100, get 2 free stocks, get your life insurance in as little as 5 minutes. And folks, we will see you tomorrow.